Hello everyone and welcome to another high-low game of Age of Empires. Today we are hiding under blankets because it is strangely and unseasonably cold as Sebastian, playing as the Red Teutons, prepares to take on MbL, playing as the Blue Bohemians. Now, while the players herd their herdables explore their immediate surroundings with ducks and with scouts, geese rather, let's take a look at the respective civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now, the Teutons are a civ that, very much like the Byzantines, are designed to take a beating and still stay standing. All barracks and stable units get free extra melee armor in Castle and Imperial. Their siege units can be upgraded to get a big melee armor boost, and their towers have extra space for more units to garrison inside and fire extra arrows. By the way, that also goes for their town centers. Take a look. They have 25 space to garrison villagers compared to the usual 15. Now, murder holes and herbal medicine are for you get those for free as the Teutons, so you do heal your units super fast inside your castle as they are protected against melee units. Now, those same Teutonic castles can actually be upgraded to have extra range and actually fire arrows when garrisoned by infantry, which is kind of a big deal since usually only villagers and ranged / archer units add extra arrows to castle fire. Now, on the field of battle, all Teutonic units have higher resistance to conversion, and if they're hurt, they can be healed by monks from twice the distance. This is fantastic news for the unique unit of the Teutons. I am, of course, talking about the Teutonic Knight, an incredibly powerful but super slow, very heavily armored infantry unit. Now, to support a big Teutonic hungry population, Teutonic farms are 40% cheaper than normal. Opposing Sebastian as the Red Teutons, we have MbL playing as the Blue Bohemians. This is a civilization that does basically everything it can to push its players towards gunpowder units. Chemistry upgrade and hand cannoneers are actually available in Castle Age, and the Bohemians do have access to an upgrade that does increase the speed of every single gunpowder units. Now, unless you think you have to go hand cannon, also know that the Bohemians have access to two incredibly powerful gunpowder unique units. The first is their Hussite wagon. This is a very tanky, powerful siege unit that is sometimes called the mobile wall. Now, the reason it's called this is because it actually protects units behind it from enemy projectiles by cutting the damage of those projectiles in half. Their second very powerful gunpowder unit is the Haufnitze or howitzer. This is basically an upgraded version of the bombard cannon with more HP, better armor, higher damage, a wider blast radius, and a massive plus 250 attack bonus against building. Now, remember, the upgrade to go from bombard cannon to Haufnitze is basically the same cost as going up to Imperial, so it's an incredibly expensive upgrade to get. Now, to provide backup for these expensive, powerful gunpowder units on the field of battle, Bohemians can turn to a few interesting, unique characteristics and traits. Their Spearman line actually deals 25% extra bonus damage, and you can actually upgrade your entire monk line by researching an upgrade that replaces all the gold cost of monks and monk upgrades with food. Now, what this essentially does in the super late game is turn your monks into trash units, which is super duper cool. Now, gunpowder units, as you know if you've played this game, incredibly expensive. So to help pay for them, universities and blacksmiths cost less wood, mining camp upgrades are free, markets work faster, and villagers are much harder to raid because they do benefit from 2 monk upgrades that make them move faster and also have more HP. So I am incredibly excited to cast this game. These are 2 fantastic players. Take a look at their Elos. MbL, the Elo favorite here with 2569. Sebastian, no slouch at 2461. But also just because these are 2 very fun civilizations to watch. I mean, the Teutons are one of the OG civs, incredibly powerful, have access to some of the heaviest hitting units in the game. But the Bohemians, my goodness, if a player is allowed to get into late game with Bohemians, oh, good luck trying to stop them. That civilization, this civilization that we are watching, can be totally and utterly destructive with its insanely powerful gunpowder units. So, excited to see how this game, like I said, 2 great players, 2 great civs. Let's take a look while Sebastian moves forward here with a somewhat weak feudal age force. Let's take a look at the actual bases, see where the players have spawned. MbL completely open to the north, completely open to the south. Decent wall off here to the northeast, and an okay wall off here to the southeast as well. His gold a little bit off campus, so he does have to be careful not to let this primary gold pile fall into enemy hands. Excuse me, I don't know why I have to clear my throat so much all of a sudden. Like I said, it is unseasonably cold here in Canada. If you know anything about Canada, you know that it's very cold. So for it to be unseasonably cold is quite an achievement. For now, 3 gold miners, both players still stuck in feudal. In Dark Age, though, right as I say that, our Bohemian player hits feudal. Let's take a look at Sebastian's base. Also completely open in the front, completely open to the west, the north, the east. A little bit easier, I guess, to wall off with a wall here. But primary gold also a little bit forward facing, a little bit far off campus. Primary stone on the entire other side of the base. And so that might be an issue for our red Teuton player. For now, though, he is the one putting on the aggression. Have these militias done anything? No kills for our red Teuton, who now joins his opponent in feudal age, although a good 40 or so seconds behind. What has MbL done with his lead? Not much. He is going up 1 villager over his opponent, although red, with this next production cycle, will be 1 villager ahead. Both of them now finally sitting on the same villager count. Sebastian continues to circle around with his force, not upgrading them at all. These are still militias. They are not men-at-arms. This scout has taken a beating. 18 HP left on him. Let's see if red intends to continue putting on aggression. Yeah, take a look at this. 2 archery ranges. A barracks, a house being built behind. So let's see if he decides to wall or leaves this little section open. But you do not build 2 archery ranges unless you intend to use them. Oh, and we've got a Bohemian archer. Should be able to shoo away these militia. Like I said, these units, not exactly the strongest. Does lose his scout cavalry, does Sebastian. And all of a sudden, the teeth of this army have been yoinked out, have been broken. And this archer... I don't even think he had to run away there, really. He was only being chased down by 1 militia. 1 or 2 more volleys of the archer should have gotten those militias. And in fact, this villager can turn around and kill these militias herself if she wanted to. For now, more red dots streaming across the map. 2 archers and a skirmisher. Okay. As I said, you don't really want to play Bohemians in late game if you can avoid it. So our... red Teuton here looks like he wants to put on a lot of feudal age aggression. For now, does get a nice kill here on the archer, but loses his own. But right after he does that, another archer goes down. Oh, Tony the Tiger here. He is going to drop dead as soon as these archers turn around and get him. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Tiger. You were not long for this world. 5 skirmishers, 1 archer. More red dots streaming across the map. Not surprising. Like I said, if you can, you would ideally like to put a lot of pressure on your Bohemian opponent. MbL, for his sake, let's see what he is building. We've got a blacksmith as part of a wall-off and an archery range. Okay. Resource-wise, both players stuck at about 200 food, 200 gold apiece. These red Teuton skirmishers are getting quite a lot done here, actually. But... MbL wisely bringing forward a few villagers to close the distance. Remember, skirmishers do have a minimum range. And so these villagers, if they can close, can inflict a little bit of damage. The problem is, let's take a look at the speed. 0.8, 0.96. So in theory, these skirmishers can run circles around the villagers all the livelong day. But while he does so, he is taking some damage from this 1 Bohemian skirmisher who is now joined by his partner here. Oh, loses a skirmisher to Sebastian, but he takes the high ground, uses it to kill the skirmisher of his opponent, and this one should die as well, right? Right? Yep, he dies as well. More and more red dots streaming across the map. Archers, skirmishers, more archers, more skirmishers. Okay, Sebastian wants to put as much pressure as possible. Take a look at the military count, 15-7. Villager count surprisingly identical, despite the fact that our red Teuton is pumping out units left, right, and center. More skirmishers, literally anything he can get his hands on. Take a look at his resources. He is not floating any resources. MbL sitting at 400, almost 500 gold. And now the scout cavalry should be able to shoo this away, although there is one archer mixed in here. Oh, that archer, take a look at the HP. 2 HP, ugh. Not long for this world, and oh, does get a villager. Sebastian, unfortunately, that villager manages to build a little bit of a house. That house does go down, and so now he is free to escape his opponent's base. Oh, this poor skirmisher. We've got a bit of a tussle here in the center, right in front of MbL's base. I don't know that he needed to really disengage here. MbL, he's building 5 scout cavalry. He should be able to swarm and swamp over these red, weaker ranged units. Although finally, Sebastian does throw in a few spearmen, 3 of them. Another little clump coming, 2 more archers, 20 army supply to 11. But he is not clumping them into any kind of death ball. For now, they are just running around disjointed. Okay, trades a skirmisher for a scout. Not a bad trade until a second skirmisher dies. Then all of a sudden the third skirmisher dies and the mathematics change. Where are these spearmen going? Turn around. Yeah, okay, finally turns around. Beautiful. Beautiful catch here by Sebastian. Like I said, I mean, you need to conglomerate your army here. 17 army supply on this screen. You do not want to start putting out 3 or 4 units at a time, but the red dots have stopped streaming across the map. 750 gold for our red Teuton, and our blue Bohemian has clicked up to Castle Age. Let's see, I should be able to defend this with these scouts as long as they don't die to these spearmen immediately as I say that. One does die. Excuse me. Okay, does get another skirmisher. A lot of red deaths here. I mean, Sebastian's military supply has basically been thirded. He is down from the 20 range to 7. What's the HP on these scouts? Okay, they can engage now that the 2 spearmen are dead. Not sure why he's just engaging with one when he's got a second one. Okay, he can take this fight. You know what? Look, it's not the end of the world to trade out some units here and there to make sure that your opponent is no longer aggressive. 2 archery ranges very close to the town center. Don't see this every day. And now our red Teuton, the one behind on army supply, although finally does click up to Castle Age, will reach Castle with a good decent amount of gold, as will our blue Bohemian. We'll see if he decides to take advantage of any of these Bohemian features and bonuses. I mean, I hope we get to see a nice big gunpowder battle here. Always a possibility when you're playing Teuton, when you're casting Teutons against Bohemians. But for now, he's moving out past this graveyard, past these this relic, and does manage to get the last archer. Our red Teuton is now in a little bit of trouble. These this individual archer will become a crossbow in 11 seconds. Bodkin will benefit these skirmishers as well, so they are going to have a nice little attack and range boost. And with these range units, red is going to have a difficult time walling this in, although again, not exactly the game-ending force at the moment. But now blue has weathered the storm, and it is in fact he who is pushing out onto the map. 12 villagers on gold. He has depleted his entire gold reserve. 1 knight in production. 6 more crossbows will take him up to 15 crossbows. And what is Sebastian doing to defend against this? Okay, he's hiding 9-10 skirmishers inside of his archery ranges. Does hit Castle. Let's see what he does. Okay, also gets Bodkin. Okay, elite skirmisher is a good choice when you've invested heavily into skirmishers, and dumps all of his gold into 3 knights. Where is his stable? 2 stables here for him. Okay, great great infrastructure by our red Teuton at this stage of the game, although not to be outdone, our blue Bohemian also. Take a look at all these archery ranges. Take a look at this barracks, the stable, another town center. Interesting location here. I guess it's really the only place he could place it, right? He can't really put it here or here. But our blue Bohemian knocking on the front gate does get a poor villager. All this villager wanted to do was take his rake, his hoe, and garden a little bit, get some food for his people, but instead gets a crossbow bolt to the back of the head as he tries to retreat. And I don't know who to call this for. We've got 2 Teutonic Knights, the 10 elite skirmishers that we were talking about. They should zone out the crossbows. I think MbL here, although no, take a look at the HP on these cavalry units. Red needs to engage into them immediately. I think these 2 full health knights could get rid of all 4 of these. A lot of move commands for some strange reason for both players. Okay, knight goes down, scout goes down, another scout goes down. The last scout finally does bite the dust, but we've got 4 more knights in the production tab for our Bohemian player. Battle happening in the middle of the map. Reinforcements not really in favor of any particular one of the players, although red now with taking a lot of damage to his army, and this knight should run away. You can't engage with 17 HP. Where the hell are you going? And now 2 Bohemian knights streaming out onto the map. We're getting ballistics for our Bohemian player, so these ranged units are going to be even more powerful, and there are even more of them streaming across the map. MbL says, you know what? I like the idea of being incredibly aggressive. Thank you for giving me that idea for the first 20 minutes of the game. Now it's my turn. Let's see if you can weather the blue Bohemian storm. For now, doing a good job taking the high ground, getting that extra 25% attack damage done from his ranged units. Although the quantity is not there for either player. This is a hilariously small time battle here for both players. Individual units going down left, right, and center, but finally our blue Bohemian takes the day with these 2 knights perfectly fully healthy, at least at the start of this fight. And now disengages. Army supply wavering back and forth between these 2 players. No, he is not looking. Is MbL does lose a knight because of it. A 3rd town center going up for him. Not a terrible location, actually. Zoning out the left and the right here with this town center that can be garrisoned. What is our red Teuton doing? He is stuck on 1 town center. He does not have the stone necessary to build another one, nor the gold to buy 100 stone. Villager count down 10% is our red Teuton, who's moving forward with an army that's down about 130 HP, but blue down about 250 HP, so has to be very careful. I mean, we are seeing the God's Eye caster view, right? We see that even though blue has the number supply, he needs to be a little careful here because some of these crossbows are basically on death's door. And now the knights are moving forward. Not sure this is the right move for MbL. Okay, this knight derping out a little bit with the pathing, as sometimes happens in Age of Empires. Needs to send this 1 weak knight home. It's got 5 HP. There's really no point in having this knight out here. He dies immediately. MbL out. Goodbye, skirmishers. Even if they don't take any balls to the face, they need to retreat. You cannot risk, although the MbL does end up going down. The knights sacrificing themselves to take out that big damage dealer. And now 2 full health knights. We've got a monk. Is he here for healing? Is he here for relics? Let's find out. Finally, a 2nd town center going up for our red Teuton player. Although he is down 1 town center. And take a look at MbL behind this while building his military, while pumping out mangonels, crossbows, and knights. He is managing to take a massive villager lead. Fervor as well, so his monks are going to move a little bit faster. Remember that the Bohemian villagers do also benefit from Fervor, so they should move 15% faster. Now that Fervor has been researched, an incredibly cool feature of the Bohemians. They are a very powerful civilization with a lot of very cool features. For now, though, military supply has swung back, not surprisingly, in favor of our red Teuton, who guns down, charges down a few skirmishers who, for some bizarre reason, were very much behind enemy lines. I don't know that you can engage into these crossbows, though. This is a lot of crossbows. There's a monk behind them. Let's see if he gets the convert. Hello, wake up. after a long ass time, does get the convert, and so Red all of a sudden again finds himself down in army supply, although does pick off another mangonel. MbL needs to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more judicious with the use of these mangonels. Is he building another one? Yes, he is. Maybe garrison it inside first until the coast is clear. Random villager just hanging out here saying, oh, I am a sick fuck. I like to watch battles. I like to see death and destruction all around me. A third town center going up for our Red Teuton. Decent location. Gets access to this gold. Gets access to a lot of land here for farms. And also protects the left flank of his base a little bit with this town center. Nothing really at this stage of the game that can take too many town center arrows to the face and survive, especially not a Teuton town center. Remember, they can garrison 10 extra villagers in their town center, and that gives them access to, I believe, up to 5 more arrows that they can fire. More and more action happening here, but oh, behind this, sneaky, take a look at the top left of our screen. 17 villagers on stone for MbL. Where did they come from? Oh, 2 skirmishers try to join their buddies, take a bunch of rocks to the back of the head, and they go down. And now skirmishers, which counter these crossbows, take the high ground, although they need to be very careful. Mangonel again dies. Would love to know how many mangonels have died in this game. Okay, stop production of mangonels. 23 villagers on stone. Is our blue Bohemian planning some kind of tower or castle push? Let's take a look. This is a lot. Or is he just getting this for now because he knows his opponent is going to put on pressure, and so he would do well to get as much of the stone as much as possible, as early as possible. Does need to maybe build a mining camp to the left of this. This is a lot of villagers getting clogged up in the works. And now MbL taking the army supply lead. This is a pendulous game here. Swinging left, swinging right, swinging red, swinging blue. Oh, look at that little, look at that little deaky movement out of our Sebastian. Brilliant play by him. These crossbows are not impressed at all. They are standing strong at the top of the hill. For some reason, targeting these skirmishers and not the knights. Okay, we've got our first castle down second castle. A first castle going down on the right flank. Beautiful location, beautiful placement here. Basically secures this entire right flank. A second one. I thought he was going to castle push, but no, these are very defensive castles, but still has 13 villagers on stone. Right as I say that, the castle finishes 24 villagers on stone. My goodness, is MbL interested in quarrying as much stone as he possibly can. Another town center going up for him. And here we go. The mobile walls are out. Google these things. They are incredibly cool. These were real units. They built wagons with giant cannons inside of them and big defensive walls around them. This is a real thing. One of the cool, funny things from Age of Empires is whenever you can find real-life examples. I mean, you should be able to find real-life examples of most, if not all, of the units in this game. But war wagons, or rather Hussite wagons, especially cool. Let's take a look at their accuracy. 85%. Would do well to put this in front of the crossbows. Okay, beautiful. Exactly. This is the whole point of the mobile wall. It is going to reduce the damage that these crossbows take as they hide behind this wagon. How many are coming out? We've got 4. Okay, we're getting sanctity as well for our blue Bohemian. These monks are going to have more HP. I believe that's the other upgrade that affects villagers. Let's take a look. They're sitting at 40 HP in 3, 2, 1. Jumps up to 55. So that is an incredibly cool feature of the Bohemians. Still the same 4 Hussite wagons. I mean, elite skirmishers are going to tickle away at this, but they are not going to destroy. Oh my god, their bodies are littering these hillside. And now we've got an incredibly aggressive castle placed here by MbL. Still has 6 villagers on stone, but now 36 on gold. My goodness, take a look at the villager lead. He is sitting at 40 villagers ahead of his opponent. Sebastian perhaps investing a little bit too much in late feudal, early castle armies. There are a few knights here that are going to take a bunch of bullets to the face and die. Oh, goodness. Another castle. Okay, crossbow has to get the hell out of the way. Okay, our red Teuton is very much in trouble. He's sitting on 12 army supply, 11 of which is elite skirmishers, but he will be the first to hit Imperial Age. The question is, so what? He does not have a castle. There are no trebs that will be able to come out of his military-industrial complex. He is getting chemistry, so what the hell was the point of going up to castle Imperial so quickly here, especially if you know your opponent is barreling down on you? Only 4 villagers on stone, 8 on gold. Take a look at this: 38 villagers on gold, 21 villagers on stone for our blue Bohemian, who is now trying to bust his way into this base. Oh god, red is in a huge amount of trouble. Luckily for him, blue has blue discovered. No, he is not discovered. He's seen, actually, so he can attack into this at any moment, opting instead to try to end the game right here, right now, by busting down the front wall of his opponent. Crossbows, for some reason, attacking houses. Well, I don't know why he's not focusing all of these units on the same target. In they come. Now they're going to start shelling away at these villagers. Another castle going up for our blue Bohemian. This is 3 incredibly forward castles. And now both players are in Imperial treadmill crane Wagenberg tactics. This is great. So these units are going to move 15% faster, I believe. Red with a bit of a counterattack here, but take a look at how much damage these things take from elite skirmishers and still stay strong. Look at this. HP is barely moving, and in the front he's got nothing. What is he building? What is in here? Capped rams? Okay, if he can make this work, all the more power to Sebastian. For now, though, his base has been breached. There are Hussite wagons inside. There are arbalests inside, and now that these arbalests are out, these capped rams are basically worthless. They are incredibly slow. They will take, yeah, not surprising here that Sebastian decides to tap out, even though he's here with his Cavalier. Did get the Cavalier upgrade while I wasn't looking, has 4 of them. Where are they? I don't know why they're not here. In any event, though, he rushed up to Imperial, I guess, so that he could get Cavaliers. But unfortunately for him, he made the mistake of not dealing with the crossbows from Castle, which have now been upgraded to arbalests in Imperial with a +4 attack. Instead, opting to go for 9 capped rams. Okay. I mean, that's certainly... how do I put this? That's certainly a strategy. It's certainly something that you can do. Unfortunately for him, there's no supporting units here. We've got 7 elite skirmishers, and my goodness, another castle going down, or rather up, for our blue Bohemian. He wants to defend his juicy innards from any kind of raiding. He sees that there are Cavaliers out, even though he is kind of walled off here to the right side. Oh no, this is a little bit open, even though it's defended by a castle and a town center. My goodness, MbL takes a lot of early game aggression out of Sebastian, defends his base for the first 20-25 minutes of the game. Then he hits late castle and just explodes out onto the map. Take 36 villagers on gold, 10 on stone. This used to be in the 20s, and he's taking his opponent's stone as well. Remember I said how the primary stone could be an Achilles heel, could be a problem for our red Teuton? Apparently it was, because this stone is getting teeth. We've got bombard cannons out. Red wisely deciding to GG to live to fight another day. Let's take a look at the stats. 114 arbalests, but 110 elite skirmishers. APM, what the heck? 326 for our red Teuton. Fantastic. A more relaxed game for our blue Bohemian. Let's take a look at the kill count. 153 kills by the Bohemians, 120 by our red Teuton, who only managed to kill 1 villager. Let's take a look at economy. I mean, this should be hilarious. This should be insanely askew. Yeah, about 20% more for our blue Bohemian, although relic gold not playing a factor here at all. Oh goodness, 4,200 stone to 500. He's basically mined what, 8.5 times more stone than his opponent, and about 4,000, a little bit over 4,000 more gold than his opponent. So yeah, I think perhaps Sebastian went a little too buck wild in Feudal Age. The army supplies were seesawing back and forth, but he did not get the critical damage he needed in order to stop the blue Bohemian. Like I said, you do not want to play Bohemians against Bohemians in the later stages of the game. They can field some insanely powerful units, and you best believe with 36 villagers on gold, these bombard cannons would eventually turn into Haufnitzes, into howitzers. And once that's done, once you start getting trebs out, although no indication that our blue Bohemian wanted any trebs, not that he really needed them. Like I said, Sebastian rushing up to Imperial, I don't understand why. The only thing I can think of is for the Cavalier and eventually, I guess, the Paladin upgrade. But he has no castles. There's no trebs that he could have produced, even though he did reach Imperial first. Decides that he can no longer hold the front while he tries desperately, finally managed to get this one Hussite wagon, but all of a sudden faced with a second, and with the Cavalier should be easier to take down this Hussite wagon. Unfortunately for him, he's got this big old blue chunk in the center of his base. Bombard cannons making an appearance, another castle up here jeopardizing the two relics that he has. Eventually a Treb will come out, or even a Haufnitze, and then all of a sudden you've got Jack Diddley to respond to this, except for some reason 9 capped rams with very, very little support. So overall, I think Sebastian saw the writing on the wall, decided to tap out after about 20-25 minutes of being the one putting on the aggression on his opponent's side. The Bohemian Spring was compressed and condensed for about 20-25 minutes and then just exploded onto the map. MbL takes the W, but a fun game. GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.